Howdy folks, I'm Buoyant Boots, balancily barging into brackish bogs.
I'm Amber.
And here are more brackish bogs for us to bounce into. That's what we do, bounce, bounce, bounce. So let's get started on that. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Telling My Cousin to Stop Rearranging My Apartment After She Moved In? I'm a 23-year-old and I live alone in a small apartment. Last week, my cousin Mara, a 26-year-old, needed a place to crash after her roommate moved out. She said that it would only be for a few days, so I agreed. Everything was fine at first, and she helped with the groceries and tidying up, and then things started changing. After 4 days, I noticed that she was rearranging my things. Not just cleaning, moving things. My bathroom cabinet, my spice rack, and even the books on my shelf. I didn't mind that too much at first, but yesterday when I came back home from work, I walked into my entire living room being changed around. She had moved my couch, my desk, and even put some of my decorations away because she thought that they made the space look too cluttered. She seemed so proud of it, like she had done me a huge favor. I tried to stay calm and just said, "Oh, you move stuff around," and she immediately got defensive, saying that she thought that I would appreciate her helping me make the place look more put together. I told her that I actually preferred things the other way that they were, and that I would have appreciated if she had asked me first. Now she's been quiet and petty, staying in her room with her door half shut. I've spent the evening putting my place back together because it doesn't even feel like my apartment anymore. I'm wondering if I overreacted. I get that she's under stress, but it's my space. Is it unreasonable to expect someone to respect that? Or am I just being too sensitive? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, you're not being too sensitive. This is your home and she is a guest in your home. I think it's perfectly reasonable to have expectations about your space being relatively preserved. Like, it would be one thing if she had talked to you and the two of you had come to an agreement about the space, but the way she just unilaterally made decisions about the space, that's not okay.
So what do you feel about how she said that they were going to be there for a couple of days and now it's been like 4 days? Do you think that Mara is basically trying to stake their claim over the space?
I mean, that's not outside the realm of possibility. I hadn't really considered that angle. Like, a lot of people just kind of overstay their welcome, but yeah, it could be that she is trying to make it her space and then, is gonna be shady and all that stuff.
So I think that OP is right to want their space in a way that makes them comfortable, right? It's their house, it's their home rather. They can do that. And I think Mara really overstepped her bounds. I think that if she wanted to rearrange things, then she should have asked OP in the first place. And maybe sometimes, rearranging, maybe she thought that she was like giving like a, feng shui or something like that to OP's apartment. But again, like the fact of the matter is that OP should be the final say in this. And if OP didn't like how it was, then she should have apologized and immediately put things back the way they were instead of leaving it up to OP to do. And I also don't think that her reaction here is a really good reaction, with her whole sulking and everything like that. I think that she should have apologized profusely instead and been more understanding that OP wouldn't want their space rearranged arbitrarily.
Yeah.
But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Major Friendship 4900 says, Not the jerk, it's your apartment, not hers. Ask when she is moving out. And OP replies, waiting for her to finish acting up to tell her that. And Suspicious Cupcake 23 says, make sure you know the laws in your state. Some states give surprisingly short amount of times that a guest basically becomes a tenant and you have to evict. Make sure she's out before then. And OP replies, all right, we'll do just that. And Swishy75 says, or knock on her door and tell her, look, I want to help you and I'm happy to give you a place to stay and you're welcome here until the end of the week. I appreciate you helping out. I just don't want my things rearranged. And OP replies, all right, I'll do that. And Blondie1 PSP says, not the jerk and you didn't overreact. I think it's time she found a new place to live because her rearranging your stuff seems to give the impression that she moved it because it's her place now too. And OP replies, seems like she had planned on staying more than a few days, but that ain't happening. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for expecting my partner to do the dishes every night? For chores, my girlfriend and I split them evenly. Some chores we alternate who does them. Some only she does them, and some I only do. Cooking is mainly done by me, but sometimes it's both of us if it's a meal with a lot of work or different pans. For the dishes, we alternate days. I work from home and my girlfriend works from the office. She recently mentioned that her colleague asked why I don't have food ready every night for her getting in. I pointed out that she gets done at least an hour before we actually eat, so it wouldn't make any sense anyways. She's now started to go to see her mom after work and messaging me ask if I'll do the food before she gets back. Over the weekend, I told her that if she was going to expect me to cook pretty much every night, then she can be the one who does the chores each night. I said that it's not fair to alternate the chore when she now expects me to do pretty much all of the cooking. She said that it wasn't fair as I don't mind cooking, whereas neither of us like doing the dishes. I just said that it's completely fair since I'm the one cooking for us. I pointed out that she's expecting to do less chores, but not make up for it anywhere, and she can either do her share of the cooking or she can do the dishes each night. She said that she shouldn't be punished for going to see her mom, but I just said that's exactly what she's doing to me. She's deliberately staying out later to get out of doing any cooking so she can do the dishes instead. Am I the jerk for expecting my partner to do the dishes every night? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk, because it seems like she is trying to unilaterally change the division of labor. It would be one thing for her to have, see her mom a few times a month or something like that, but every day it seems like she is just doing it to force OP to have to do all the cooking. And so if he's picking up a greater workload somewhere, it's only fair that she picks up a greater workload in another area.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really what this boils down to. I don't think that OP's in the wrong here. I think OP's expectations are perfectly fair and reasonable. Plus, oftentimes the person who cooks isn't the person who does the dishes as well. And so that just generally is a division of labor that a lot of households have. I think that OP is making a lot of good points here. She's kind of abandoning OP and making this strange expectation that OP should have the dinner done for her just because she's working and then, getting home and stuff like that, and the dinner isn't done. So I wonder if this coworker has started getting in her ear and has given her weird expectations.
Well, that was the next thing I wanted to talk about, is that I would be concerned about her relationship with his coworker, and because it does seem like they are trying to convince her that the way that their relationship is currently arranged is wrong in some way, and it's an unfair burden to her. But working from home is no different from working from the office. It's still working. And yes, there may be a shorter commute time, but overall, that shouldn't affect the division of labor that much.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Taking Away My Wife's Phone and Not Letting Her Watch the News Since It Makes Her Upset? I'm a 38-year-old male, and I told my friends that I was doing this, and they have forced me to make an account and post this because they think that it's quote-unquote crazy. My wife is a 26-year-old, and she's a housewife. She's extremely sweet and has a lot of empathy and is very sensitive. I don't really use any social media. I have Facebook and haven't been on it in months, and that's it. My wife, however, was constantly on Instagram, watching TikToks, and she would watch the news stories and dumb content that made her worked up and upset. It got to the point where she would be red, almost shaking. Just as an example, she would see a news story about something awful like a murder and read the comments from other people making fun and getting so upset about it. So I take her phone away at night when I get home from work. She has an iPad, which she does not download any socials on, just games and books, and she uses that. She can also respond to text on it since her phone is connected. It keeps her from scrolling. If I'm sitting next to her, she can have it unless I see any issues. And as for the news, I don't exactly lock down the TV. I don't think that she has much interest in it and won't pick it up over Netflix, so it's not a huge issue. I just watch it alone when I'm drinking my coffee. As soon as she is up, I turn it off. I obviously can't keep everything from her, but this has made so much progress. I was telling my friends this because so far it has been great for her mental health. Like, she doesn't work, so the only problem with not having a traditional job is that she can be on her phone more, but she has been scrolling less every day. She has told me that she started putting on movies while cooking and cleaning and doesn't touch her phone. She spends the rest of her time shopping and at the spa or salon, and she has been listening to Dance Mom's podcasts or something like that. So genuinely, it's working. And keeping her from the news was always something that I felt it wasn't job to do. She shouldn't be worried about the current issues or politics. Throwing that in there was a really good thing for her. She is way less stressed now, and realistically, as long as I know what's going on, she doesn't need to. If she absolutely needs to know something, then I can tell her. And folks, I want to read a couple of comments here because I think having a few more things, pieces of information from OP is helpful. And Castaway 629 says, right, you wouldn't want your quote-unquote housewife to know about anything on the news. You're just controlling. And OP replies, more protective than controlling, lol. It's my job to take care of her and protect her. If something is hurting her, I get rid of it. Very simple. And Significant Doubt 863 says, if something is hurting her in this regard, she would benefit from therapy to work through the issues, not just having her phone taken away. And OP replies, she goes to therapy, but to be honest, social media is trash and she's better without it anyways. And No Associate 6688 says, did she ask for you to do that, or was it a decision you took upon yourself to make? And Obi replies, it was my decision to actually take it. But she said multiple times that she wanted to stop scrolling and getting frustrated that she was getting worked up again. She kept saying that she didn't know why she engaged with the people online or why she kept reading the comments. If she fought with me or said that she didn't really want me to take it, I would have figured something else out. When I told her that I was doing this, she didn't really say anything. She just said okay and gave the phone to me. All right, folks, what do you think of that?
Yeah, I think that OP is the jerk here. And my big thing here is it feels infantilizing. You know, it's one thing to talk with your partner and make a decision together.
Mm-hmm.
It's another thing to be like, okay, I'm taking your phone now. And the way he talks about her feels more like he's talking about a 5-year-old. Like he has to shelter her and protect her.
Yeah.
She's a grown adult. I am someone who struggles a lot with like heavy things. I can get very upset by the news, and so I have to limit my amount of time I spend exposed to it. Brian does not take away my phone.
Yet. I don't take her phone away yet, but I've got some ideas now.
No, you know, it is something that I'm as an adult, I have to make choices and decisions, you know, and I know people can have a really hard time getting away from their phones, getting away from social media, but that's why you work together as a team to tackle the issue and not just make unilateral decisions.
Yeah, the whole taking away her phone like this without consulting her or even talking it over, I think is the biggest problem I have here. It isn't so much that he's taking away her phone. It's not even so much that she seems to object to it. It's the subtlety of I just made this unilateral decision to control her behaviors and stuff like that. And like I really don't like the infantilization. I mean, some people have certain relationship dynamics, and maybe this, if we were to give them the full benefit of the doubt here, maybe this is just a relationship dynamics where OP is supposed to be like the, master of the household, blah, blah, blah. But I don't know. I think that, again, he shouldn't be treating her like a child. He should be treating her like a partner. And that is, I think, where I really have to kind of draw the line on this. There really does need to be a conversation about this. And I don't think that OP is doing her any favors because, like, suppose their relationship doesn't work out, right? Then what's that going to mean for her, right? She's going to have to figure these things out on her own anyways. And what happens if he passes away, for instance, right? Maybe their relationship doesn't dissolve, but he passes away and she's left to her own devices. Is this really going to be something that helps her in the end, right? And I would say, no, this isn't going to help her. And it isn't giving her the strategies to cope with her own, things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Like, there are a lot of different approaches that you can take. You can actually buy little locked boxes that will lock your phone up for a certain amount of time.
Yeah, or
right?
you can block certain
Mm-hmm.
like websites from your phone.
Yeah.
And
And so there are a lot of different avenues that you can take for controlling these behaviors. And so, like, if she was really serious about this, maybe instead of OP taking the phone away, she just puts it into a lockbox or, blocks the apps that she doesn't want to watch at a certain time, right? I think that, accomplishes the exact same goal. But with her, going out of her way to put it in the lockbox, it's her own decision and her own, authority that she's doing this,
mm-hmm.
and I think it's going to provide her with a lot more sense of an empowerment type of thing, right?
Right.
But yeah, the world can be stressful and news can be bad, and I think that OP, I don't think they're coming from a bad place, to be quite honest, but I don't approve of their approach. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. But folks, let's see what the Wheel of Judgment has to say. Wheel of Judgment, turn, turn, turn. Tell us the judgment that OP's earned. No chill, only drama. I don't know if that even works here.
Yeah.
Good job, Wheel. Were you even paying attention? I don't think
I
you
don't think
were.
so.
All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
Why did the person open a shop in a dollhouse?
Well, the person opened up a shop in the dollhouse because they had actually been miniaturized to the size of a doll. And instead of, making the worst out of the situation, they made the best out of the situation by, harnessing their capitalistic roots in order to save enough money from the dolls that they could become the lord of the dolls. And then they would build their empire slowly so that they could slowly take over the doll empire with their superior intellect and their superior skills and opposable thumbs, as opposed to the dolls that have to go around like this. So, yeah, that's why.
That took a horrible turn, but because they wanted to run a small business,
That they did.
and it's Small Business Saturday.
Oh, so go find yourself a small business to support.
I have books, just saying.
Yeah, Amber does have books if you want to support a small business like us. And I have the special guest tea. It's the chocolate tea today. Mmm, tastes like chocolate. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Spectacular Saturday, folks. I hope your Saturday is off to a spectacular start. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it on overstepping.
It can be good to work with your partner to help find solutions, but you should be treating them as a partner, not as your child.
And also, don't move into somebody's house and then rearrange their house.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
a pretty big overstep, too. But thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
bye.